Yeah. Yeah. No.
110%. I get to
Yeah.
ask you questions.
For sure. And I will just add to Heather's resume there. She is also a two-time past president of the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors.
Yeah.
So
And this is your second time around too,
this
right?
is this is also my second time around. Yes.
So tell me a little bit, how did you get into real estate? For those who don't know your backstory, why real estate?
Um, I mean, it feels cliche to be like it's in my blood, like you. But my mother was an agent when I was growing up. She's been a conveyancer at the brokerage that I currently work at for as long as I can remember, quite literally. And I was working telephones at Elfant Wissahickon when I was 13 years old, giving out lockbox codes because showing time didn't exist, and faxing sellers disclosures to people because the internet didn't exist, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's actually quite
So
funny. For those of you who don't know, Jake did give me a few seller's disclosures and lockbox combinations back then.
yeah, as a like 14-year-old kid hanging
Yep.
out at the office on the weekends, you literally had to like call and be like, I want to show this property. And I had to flip through a book and find, you know, the lockbox code.
So it's how long have you been licensed now?
I got licensed April 2010. After college, I punted on law school and got my real estate license, and then kind of never looked back.
Okay, well, that's one thing to say. I mean,
And
it's kind of like dabbling in contracts all day, so which is a good
yeah,
thing.
exactly. I get to scratch that itch. And yeah, I'm an associate broker with Elephant Wissahickon and Realtors, where I've been my entire professional career.
So, do you do anything outside of real estate? You know, maybe some things that members don't know that you do or like to do?
I mean, I used to have fun hobbies before I had kids, but now that's my primary focus is like bouncing from playground to playground, or museum. The Please Touch Museum and the Franklin Institute are becoming second homes. And when I can, I do the racket sports thing. I play tennis when I can and pickleball as much as I
Okay.
can, but not nearly as much as you know.
As you'd like. So, what's your top playground? What's the best one in Philly so
Oh,
far?
that's a good one. I mean, we just end up like the Houston playground, which is Houston School, but also there's the Houston Playground, which is confusing. Both of them are very good playgrounds. So, yeah, Upper Roxborough, there's like a splash pad, and um, that's a good one. And
Yeah,
then
that's actually the playground I grew up on, the one in
Houston,
Andorra. Yep.
yeah, it's behind Andorra. It's great. We'll do yeah, Markovitz picnic and pick up some food and just hang out there and let the kids run around and they can get back in the woods. It's like it's a good one.
It is a good one. We love
Yeah,
Philadelphia playgrounds. Love them.
yeah.
So, what actually inspired you to volunteer at GPAR?
I mean, quite literally you,
Okay.
but in general, I mean, I feel like a lot of our new members, and we hear this a lot for people who've been in the industry for a couple of years, are like, I don't know what GPAR does. I just pay my dues and I go to a meeting every so often. And I think that's one of the things that like I aspire to sort of to fix because I think we do really important work. But I vividly remember you walking up to one of my brokers at a general membership meeting and be like, you guys need to get some Elfont people involved. And then the next thing I know, you and I and our former CEO are having coffee, and then I'm involved on your board as a presidential selection and like getting to see sort of behind the screen a little bit about what GPAR does and the important work. Um, so on some level, it was being asked was sort of why I got involved and wanting to understand what we do and why we do it.
So, why not just stop at a committee level? Why go for president? Why sit on the board in the leadership side?
Um, it's weird. I feel like like Hamilton comes to mind. Like I want to be in the room where it happens, right? Like there's a pull there, um, to be involved, and even I technically was on a committee last year, but it was the first time in years that I wasn't on the board. And I would have like people reaching out to me to ask me questions about what was the board working on or what was going on. I was like, I don't know. I'm not on the board. Like, I don't know, or people would just assume that I was in the know about stuff. And I'm like, I'm not on the board. Like, I'm a member of the RPAC committee, and that's what I'm doing this year. And it honestly felt pretty good to sort of take that year off, just because it had probably been 8 or 9 years of being on the board or in leadership. And but yeah, it's nice to be part of the decision making, and right, for all of the people who are like, what do we pay these dues for? It's like nice to be able to have some, you know, influence and say, and be part of the vision to see what that's all about.
Well, that's good. But this is your second go around. So
This
in
is my second go.
2022, right?
Yeah.
In 2022. So in 2022, you actually chose and made available to our members the book, The Color of Law,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
then in 2026, you've chosen another book, which is actually
Yeah.
called Hidden Potential.
Yeah.
What made you choose these books?
So it's fun, right? Like at the end of the day, I had a friend ask me, like, I was talking about things I wanted to accomplish as president. And it's like, yeah, I want to increase home ownership or blah, blah. And it's like, how are you going to do that, Jake Markovitz? Like, you know, and it's like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, right? We're going to advocate for these issues and promote them. But on the simplest level, like, how can I have a direct impact? And I mean, I read The Color of Law and had like a visceral, physical reaction when you get to these sections about Philadelphia, and it feels like ancient history, and you're reading it, and it's like, yeah, no, now I can literally see why these neighborhoods are one way and these neighborhoods are another way, um, and it like changed reading the book, changed the way I thought about my business and how I conducted like my literally like, am I okay with this low appraisal in a neighborhood that shouldn't be getting a low appraisal, right? Like, so I'm going to advocate for a low appraisal more than I otherwise would have, and like on a very individual level, like how am I going to individually help people? And I think that's where the books came in, and just giving them away and hoping that people read them and take away what I took away from them was sort of the most direct way that I came up with to help people. So The Color of Law, I mean, 2022 was just like, how are we going to sort of fix a lot of the injustice and messed up things and bridge the homeownership and wealth gaps that have come to be because of really bad, terrible policy for a couple of generations, and educating individuals was sort of what I came up with. And I think if you haven't picked up that book, you should. Um, it's an eye opener. And then Hidden Potential, uh, one of the things that I wanted to focus on this year and in general is like getting back to sort of cultivate, right? I'm stepping in as a second time leader and sort of cultivating the next generation of leaders. And I think Hidden Potential offers a lot of insight into how to sort of grow into that and create leaders and become a leader. Um, Personal growth, like a lot of that stuff is in there. And it sort of resonated with me. He's also a Wharton professor, so there's a loose Philly tie
Philadelphia tie.
there. Yeah. And but it's a really good book. It opened my eyes on a lot of different stuff on how to sort of help people, educate people, grow leaders. And that was sort of my focus for this
It
year.
was on my list. So I thank you for putting it out there because it was on my list of books to get this year. So
Yeah.
excited.
Um, yeah.
So in 2026, do you have goals? Are there any goals for the association and its
Oh
members?
yeah, I mean, I have this little like 10-point
Oh,
plan that
okay.
I did that I came up with. Um, a lot of it has, starting at the top, empowering our new CEO, Kate Berard, who did our intro today. I'm really excited to have her on board, and that's been a lot of fun. Working through all the sort of onboarding a new CEO is like a whole
I have no
process.
idea what that's all about.
Right. Which again, Heather was taking my inspiration from Heather here. Heather was involved in onboarding our previous CEO, who was here for 9 years, and recognizing that I sort of wanted to be a conduit between the CEOs and help any way that I could to make sure that Kate is set up for success, which sort of trickles down throughout the association. The other thing that again I hear a lot is, and I think is important, is that people don't understand or realize like how much benefits there are being a member, right? Advocacy is sort of the really important broad thing that we do, but it's hard to see the ROI on advocacy. Whereas I think getting back to like just member benefits, what are things that are available to our members that they're not utilizing. So there's going to be a push this year to make sure that like, did you know that you have this really cool free benefit? And not only did you know that it's there, but like, how can I actually use it? How is it going to help me make more money? Um, Sort of
The
starting
newsletters have been great.
and right, like
Yeah,
sort of
they've been great. Yeah.
communication strategy from the top down. I think part of all of this is just educating our members. We can't make them open their emails, but I'll tell you that like you should be opening your emails. Like there's a lot of time and effort and a lot of good information going into making sure that our members are aware of what they're sort of paying for and how they should be using it.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of tools. Absolutely. What else is on your list? Give me your next top two goals.
Um, I'm excited about Tether, which Kate mentioned. We're going to be rolling out a safety product. I think, right, feeling safe and confident while you're doing your job is an important part. The other cool thing about Tether for the people who aren't worried about their safety is that it comes with a lot of other features to track mileage and spending and other things. Um, so that's another good one. Um, that will be launched March 12th. We're doing some of the back end stuff to get that ready to go.
Nice.
And then getting our affiliate committee back on the ground again in the spirit of like ROI and like,
Nice.
we have affiliates that want to support us that we support and making sure that that's, a two-way road that we're all benefiting from. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to do something. Take out that crystal ball of yours.
Yep.
What issues do you think we're going to face as an association or an industry in the next couple of years?
Um, I mean, I think it just goes back to the stuff that we've been dealing with. I don't know that the dust is totally settled from the settlement and the changes that have come through there. I think we're still working through that. Um, it was fascinating. I got to hear Nakia Wright speak. She's the CEO of NAR, and she was just talking about industry lawsuits and how
She's
like that
amazing.
she is really amazing.
She is
And
amazing.
yeah, it's really, really cool. And if you get a chance to be on a webinar with her, that's one of my goals for 2026 is to get her in front of our members. But if you have an opportunity to jump on a webinar, whatever, and hear her, she's incredible. It was really inspiring. She has a great vision for the National Association, which inevitably sort of pulls down. And a lot of the stuff that we're working on is not directly from NAR, but aligns strongly with what they're trying to accomplish. But I think one of the things that she talked about, and I think hurts us as an industry, and maybe it's just because I see industry news more, but like sort of the combativeness between brokerages, between partners, between like sort of cutting out the lawsuits was I feel like the broad way that she said it. And I think when you look at the industry as a whole, like there's enough business to go around. Like we don't so I think sort of cutting that stuff out and
Cutting the
focusing
noise.
on what's that?
Noise.
Yeah, tuning out the noise and focusing on delivering for your clients is going to be the best thing. And then, I mean, it's the same advocacy stuff that we need to do on a day-to-day basis is the other one. Like being in Philadelphia, one of the things that I want to work on is getting relief for in-community landlords. I think a lot of the stuff that city council pushes out is well intended and is meant to benefit, right, and prevent sort of Jesus. I'm blanking here.
Well, no,
But
it's just listen, City Hall, that we have seen quite a few things come out of the council members in City Hall recently, and a lot of it seems to be focused on rentals and landlording for some
right,
reason.
right.
So,
And a lot of it's intended to put relief on tenants, which is admirable and important. And like, yes, but like not all landlords are bad landlords.
right.
And there are a lot of very good landlords who care about their properties, who inherit it, right? Who own one or two units and are as invested in those units as they are in their primary residence. But if they get into a squatting situation, they're going to lose the property. It's not right. They don't have the resources that some of the institutional investors have. That was the word I was looking for and blanking on. Whereas a lot of these regulations are intended to address institutional investment and that like right, like it, if you miss putting a paper on a door, I mean, people have different resources, and creating relief for the good, mom and pop in community landlords, I think is one of the things that I want to, and like get some relief there, because I think hurting those people just creates more institutional investors. It doesn't relieve the problem.
Yeah, and we've always had advocacy in Philadelphia. I mean, we are a political city, and I know Lexi, if anybody has not met Lexi yet, she is the GAD which is the Government Affairs Director for the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors. And I know she works closely with you too, and the leadership team and board when things like this come up, when, new laws are being pitched in the halls, and new things are being pitched in the halls, which is also brings back education to our members too, to let them know what's going on, because we need everybody at that point to be on board and understand what is coming down the pike and activating if we need to activate.
Right.
To let
Calls
everybody
to
know.
action and all of those things. And I think, I mean, on a high level, right, I would love to see us just be part of the conversation, right? Be in the room where it happens is an important part of this and what we do, as opposed to we're just going to oppose this bill because it's bad for our members or whoever property, working on sort of that.
Yeah.
What do you see, Heather, in terms of stuff facing the industry? I mean, you're in leadership at the state level.
Oh, no, no, don't try and turn the table on me. I
No?
turned the table on you. So no,
Oh, okay.
I'm not done with you
I'm
yet.
not allowed to ask you questions?
No, you can set up a whole different Zoom for that.
Okay. That's fine.
But
We'll get you and David Dean on a Zoom in a couple.
I would love that. I loved it.
Yeah.
So those of you who don't, David Dean is out of Pittsburgh, but he is our president for the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. Love him a lot. And we're going to, look forward to working with him this year in his presidency. But speaking of Pennsylvania, You also, not only are you the president of the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors, but you also serve as a PAR director. What,
Yes.
if you were to explain that to our members, what does it mean to be a PAR director?
So, right, there's the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors, and then there's the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. And the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors deals with the stuff that affects the state. And technically that is their focus, but like sort of looking at the broad strokes of how this can work as a member of the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors, and then going to PAR and being involved there. Locally, several years ago, we enacted and lobbied for some wholesaling regulation, because wholesaling was something that was really plaguing our city in a terrible way. People were literally getting scammed out of their houses. People were transacting in a way they didn't really understand, and trying to create some relief there. And locally, we worked on that and created some regulation. But if you don't have statewide regulation, it's harder. It's only, there's only so much you can do. So after we made some progress locally, I stood up at a meeting in Harrisburg at a legislative forum and raised my hand and said, hey, we're doing this locally. It would be cool to see some statewide action on this. And then fast forward again, nothing happens quickly, but fast forward a couple of years, and then we're seeing statewide wholesaling legislation go into place, because Harrisburg, or the PAR, just based in Harrisburg, catches on to things that are happening locally, realizes that it's not just a Philly issue, it's a statewide issue. And even if it is just a Philly issue, it's a statewide issue, because we're like, 40% of the economy of Pennsylvania. So, so that was kind of cool, right? And that's sort of how that works, right? Local issue becomes statewide issue, and we create relief from the top down. I'm also involved in the Standard Forms Committee at the state.
What does that mean?
So all of those standard forms are methodically reviewed on a semi-regular basis. That mortgage commitment bold and highlighted box right there was because I made a motion at a meeting in Harrisburg that was like, hey, people keep filling in agreement of sales without mortgage commitment dates because you camouflaged the box on the form.
Didn't camouflage.
It was pretty camouflaged, Heather. Like it was like
No.
under another box. You couldn't see it. I was submitting offers without mortgage commitments. It was terrible.
Well, that's
So full disclosure, it happened. It happened once. But yeah, you get in, right? Like we use the forms on a daily basis. The people who have the power to change the forms is the state. So that's one of the areas that I'm sort of passionate about, is making sure that the forms that we use on a daily basis are, see, thanks, Pam. Pam knows it was easy to miss.
I'm not disagreeing that. I'm just saying it was there.
But literally, like it's 11:59 and the meeting's over, and I'm like, I make a motion to bold that box, please.
Well, but I mean, but what you're saying is it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
So when you are thinking about being a PAR director, you're talking about the collaboration of it's not just you from Philadelphia at the table, right? Are there other people?
I mean, that's the fascinating thing. I mean, PA is a really big state, which I don't, I think, I mean, Erie's a good 8-9 hours away, but yeah, everyone from across the state, all 10 districts, come together in Harrisburg 3 times a year to talk about the issues that we're facing as a statewide sort of body. And a lot of that is bringing local issues to the state so that the state can fix them. But it is very collaborative. It is all 10 districts sitting around tables talking about their issues. Mm-hmm. I've sat through many a meeting listening to people talk about mineral rights or roadway rights. And I'm like, I don't even know what language they're talking right now. These are not things that we deal with in Philadelphia, but
But they're happening somewhere in the Commonwealth.
They're happening somewhere, and it's like, yes, if that's a problem for one member of the association, then like we need to fix it. So being involved at the state level is kind of cool.
So if I'm hearing correctly, you're basically saying you take the directors from Philadelphia, from Greater Philadelphia, bring their concerns and ideas to the forefront at the Pennsylvania level, and then go from there. I mean, do you sit on, are there other committees you sit on? Is there other,
So yeah, I am also an RPAC trustee.
what's our,
Uh, RPAC is the Realtor Political Action Committee. We raise funds to lobby and directly support and oppose candidates, issues, all
issues like the wholesaling law? Like
issues
that
like the
wholesaling law?
wholesaling, right? So,
Oh,
right, it's all sort of connected. So, right, you annually get asked to invest in RPAC. Those funds go into a big pool. Some of that goes to the national, and they disperse that to folks who have national control. Some of that goes to folks who have, it goes to Pennsylvania. Some of that pool goes to Pennsylvania, where they push, invest, invest in candidates that support realtors and our realtor champions.
and
And
that's
then,
the wholesaling is a prime example of where we took, and by we, I mean Philadelphia, took those grassroots efforts here, but also teamed up with the state on the state level to then bring it to the state. And that's where RPAC backs us in those endeavors. So
right,
that's a prime example for our members who are listening to this,
yeah,
that's a prime example to show you that RPAC works.
right. Your RPAC investment, whether, specifically went to helping create statewide
Mhm.
uh, legislation that created relief for consumers in Philadelphia.
Right. And also local. It does trickle down. It was
Yeah,
also help in the local side.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
and of course, if anybody has any questions about PAR and becoming a director, feel free to reach out to Jake.
Yeah, there are a lot of committees. There are a lot of ways to get involved at PAR. It is important work, and Harrisburg really isn't that far. The Turnpike isn't that, you know,
No, it's a good ride.
it's a good ride.
All right. So, is there anything that GPAR is currently not doing that you think that they should be doing or should consider doing for its members?
Um, I mean, we're doing it. Like I think it's part of the agenda and plan for this year. I think it's always tough for me, and I don't have a magic wand. But when I hear from members that are like, "GPAR doesn't do XYZ thing," and it's like, actually, we do. And like, did you open that email? So like, and so broadly, I think just looking at how we communicate with our members, how we communicate with um, the consumers directly, and making sure that our value proposition is explicitly clear. And I do think we're on a great road to improve that. But I think that's the one thing, and it's always hard when you take feedback and hear complaints to be like, well, did you open the email? But then, like, how do we make sure people are opening their emails and like creating value that makes people want to open their emails?
100%. Well, listen, how many
Yeah,
emails are sitting in your inbox right now that you are going to need to get to when you get off of this Zoom
right.
call?
Yeah,
I understand that. I am going to give major props to the team for putting together the email that we get once a week from Kate, letting us know everything that's going on and what's happening. I have found that to be a really good, valuable resource. And if you're not opening it, you should be opening it because it's bringing up some good information that is taking place with GPAR and also keeping us, on the up and up and what's happening. So,
and we have an amazing staff. They do incredible work in making sure that our members sort of understand and recognize
yeah.
everything that's happening, to sort of what their dues are going to and the benefits that come with that, and sort of understanding that all sort of stems from clear communication. And which again, I think I've been thrilled with the association news. I'm like, it's been good stuff. So
Agree. All right, so I've got a question for you. So, is there any message that you would send or thing that you would do to help inspire a future leader that might be on this call or might be listening to this? Something that you would say to somebody who hasn't thought about getting up and volunteering on a committee or hasn't thought about leadership? Anything that you would say to them to inspire them to want to be on a committee or be a leader?
Yeah, I mean, I think, right, my like theme for the year, and it's written at the top of the paper here, is presence, and just like being present. And that doesn't necessarily mean like I'm going to be president of the association someday, or like I need to, it's like just get involved, be part of the conversation, show up to stuff. Um, we want feedback. We need to hear from members. And I think it literally starts at its simplest, like be present. Um, and what that looks like to each individual is going to be different. But whether you're passionate about standard forms and want to figure out how to get involved in that, or you're politically inclined and you want to know how we're supporting candidates locally and what we're doing, there are a lot of different avenues to get involved. Our website has a lot of information about our different committees, and I think presence is sort of the theme that I'm preaching this year. Just right. I go back to the conversation I've been having a lot with the agents that I mentor, and what I learned a lot just showing up in the office. And I think COVID kind of broke a lot of our brains in terms of like, well, I can just work from home and whatever, but like just go into the office, like go get involved. And even if you don't know what that means, like then ask, right? Like how to
Right.
get, like, how can I get involved? What does that look like? What committee can I join? Where do you guys, right?
Well,
Um,
a lot of
yeah,
people also feel that how much time commitment is there?
yeah,
Is there a severe time commitment that would hinder their business or anything like that? And I found actually volunteer it helped grow my sphere of it, of business, put me in front of people who I might not have come in contact with
right.
before and help build a
Um,
network in that direction.
yeah. No, I mean it for sure. And it does, I mean, even the value at, right, like why does being right, when people ask me like why am I president of GPAR, it's like because I care about the city, but also like that enables me to understand things on a higher level, which I can then deliver as a benefit to my clients and my agents in a way that like, yeah, this is why the form is the way that it is. Or right, when I have a difficult seller yelling at me about not wanting to sign an addendum, I can be like, this is why they wrote the addendum this way. And I can understand it on a higher level. So like there is value add there.
So
Yeah.
speaking of membership and touching on membership, back in the heyday, and I know we have a couple past presidents on the call, and they'll recall this too. We used to do in-office visits. We used to go and go face to, go visit offices in person and pretty much see all of our members, anywhere from Center City to the Northeast, to the Northwest, to the West, the South, to the river. We
Yeah.
went from the rivers to the burbs and back.
Yeah.
Any plans on bringing back some old school?
100. So yes, there's sort of two things that I'll touch on there. Kate and Donna were at our at my office this week. We had sort of our annual EWR Expo meeting, and we had GPAR there tabling that event so that our agents could learn about GPAR, understand what GPAR does, and the benefits of that. And yes, it's part of the agenda. It's part of the plan is to get directly in front of our members. I think for everybody on this call who's like, yeah, that sounds interesting. Like, tell whoever runs your offices, like, hey, GPAR wants to come visit. When can GPAR come visit so that we can talk to directly to you and sort of go over some of more specifically the stuff I've touched on today. Right, Kate is available, the board is available to come talk about what we do, and we need, part of it's a two-way road, right? We need people to want us to come to their office meetings. So like, but yeah, we're happy to do that, and I think it's an important and direct, right? Again, going back to old school, Zoom is a great tool to be in front of a lot of people, and I appreciate everybody who's here today, but like, there's nothing like a face-to-face conversation and getting to know somebody. And then the other half of that is, and I did this the last time I was president, coffee with the president, where I'm just going to go post up in a coffee shop for an hour. And if you want a cup of coffee on GPAR, we'll be there. You can come talk to me about the issues that you're facing, things that
I
you wish
like that
GPAR,
idea. As I drink out of my realtor mug.
Yeah. Mine doesn't say realtor on it. I can't do that. But and the first one of that is coming up. It will be in Chestnut Hill in a few weeks. I'm waiting to iron out the details, but it's another just direct way to get in front of people. Those were really great conversations the first time around, and I think it's really important. So I'm planning to do 5 of those sort of around the city, the Northwest, Northeast. What did I write down? Southwest and Fishtown, or Northern Liberty, somewhere in that general vicinity. But it's a good, going where the members are, right, and hearing what they're facing and hearing questions directly, because that's also right. It's easy for me to say, hey, get involved. It's different when we're having a face-to-face conversation.
Oh, I always found it beneficial to be face to face with members. There's also something different from reading an email or a text message, obviously, versus having that one-on-one conversation.
Right.
In person.
Right. For sure.
So, how many leaders are you going to tap on the shoulder this year, Jake? How many people are you going to identify?
I don't. So the other, again, like, right, while we're talking about goals and things, like a leadership academy is one of the things that we are planning to get off the ground this year. Not specifically for future leaders of the association, but like leaders of Philadelphia, like how to get involved in a board, whether it's GPAR or another board, how to join an RCO, how to become a broker, right? Like how to lead in your daily life. So that's we've punted that, and we've sort of chipped away at that over the years. And I think this is the year where we're really going to try to get that off the ground. And again, not just about future leaders of the association, but that would be nice. But sort of giving leadership as a skill set, which I don't think people, fully recognize. And you do recognize it, but you don't fully recognize, right? You've been around 100%. Good leaders, you've been around bad leaders, like, and how to cultivate future leaders, not just of GPAR, but of the city, of brokerages who understand and value all of that.
No, I'm really excited to hear about GPAR leadership, because that definitely you hit spot on. It's not that you're definitely going to go into GPAR leadership, but leadership just in general. And even the more leaders that we build around us, the better we are. So we all can grow together.
Yeah.
So I like
Simon Sinek has a lot of great books about leadership. There's it's an intentional thing. It's not, and it comes
I was just looking at
some people.
Stephanie's book, the Go Giver.
That's
what Go Giver.
Yeah.
On my bookshelf.
So,
yeah, I think that's great. I'm really interested to see that launch. And obviously, if you need anybody to jump in on a speaker position, I know quite a few people.
Yeah, we're still sort of penciling it out, but
that's good.
What it'll look like and the investment that it'll require, and not like financially time it right. Like we want it to be legit.
Oh no, you absolutely do it. You have to have a syllabus for it, so that way it's value added, and you're taking something away from it, which I really like. That's really good. Any other goals or things that you want to talk about before I ask you a hard-hitting question? before I
Ooh,
am finished
a
with
hard
you?
hitting question.
Oh yeah, no, it's hard hitting.
Kate, did I miss anything? Was there anything that I should have mentioned that I haven't
Oh,
mentioned?
Kate's gonna. We have a question in the chat about AI, and we're gonna let Kate take that one. We'll
I
let
just
Kate handle that one.
Can I add one thing,
Yeah.
real quick, Heather? The face to face with members is more than just like, hey, here's your list of benefits. We're a small staff of 5, but we all have incredible skills. Like Cheryl could talk to you about ethics. Donna could talk to you anything about member benefits. Gina could talk about finance. Lexi could come and tell you about the bills that are on the table or, what meetings you should attend. I can talk to you about legal updates. I mean, we have a lot of skills that we want to bring to your office and talk to you about. So, keep that in mind. It doesn't just have to be a stale, like,
Yep.
here's what you're missing, come volunteer. So just wanted to add that into the mix.
Well, wait a minute. Since I have Kate on the line now, kind of throw an impromptu question at you, Kate. So, can you give the members a little bit background of where you came from?
Sure. So I've been in the real estate space for about 12 years. I am a licensed broker in Massachusetts. I did sell real estate primarily for a couple of years, I'd say pretty successfully. And I share that with you just because I think, um, helps me to explain why being in the association is really a unicorn for me. I'm an attorney. I have wound down my practice in Massachusetts, but I was legal counsel at the Massachusetts Association of Realtors, where I revamped their entire form set post settlement, as well as all of their rental forms. My experience as an attorney was primarily landlord representation or property disputes. I love land use. I'm also an elected person. I'm a councilwoman in the town I currently live in. So I wear a lot of hats. I mean, I think, sometimes you do that to get away from yourself, to multitask in all of the different ways. But what I've really found as I've gotten older is that the association is the perfect place for me to share all of those things about my background. Real estate is something I really love. Realtors are people I really love. I find that the business is hard, and the people that stay in it really genuinely care about the people they serve. And so it's a nice space to be. And I'm headed down that way, moving down that way in the spring, and I'm excited to head back home. Originally from New Jersey. So
Yeah. So those of you who that's a little bit of an introduction to Kate, that she just wasn't out of the real estate, she was in the real estate world. So she was there during the lawsuits and everything. So she definitely has a background, and I'm really excited to work with you too. So we did get a question in the chat box, and it asked in reference to AI, and it was well, it was a $64,000 question. So we all know how expensive that one is. Are we integrating any AI functionality into your processes for GPAR and or benefits? So
yeah. So I said we're a staff of 5. The information that you're getting needs to be a lot and all of the time, right? Our job, in my opinion, is to keep you up to date, provide you with education so that not only do you feel educated and secure in your profession, you can share that with your client, right? That gets you more business. At the end of the day, if we're not doing something that's furthering your ability to work in this industry, then we're not really doing our job. So I say that to say, some of the information that gets produced utilizes AI. I am someone who loves research and writing, and that has really been a tool that has helped to make communication more succinct, and that will continue to do so on the back end. Some of the benefits that you receive that aren't necessarily from GPAR, but are a part of your Realtor membership, like RPR, for example, the Realtor Property Resource, has integrated AI in a really great way. So if you don't know about that tool, check out your association news. You can get started there. And then I would say from our association management side, we have a very old system. We need to be cognizant of the financial cost increase of jumping to a platform that really utilizes technology in the right way, including AI. And we will eventually get there, which just will make the process for you streamlined, will update the way you fill in your applications and join events and all of those things. So I think we have a lot of great things on the horizon. So yeah, technology is our friend.
Right. Jake, is there anything else I didn't touch on yet that you want to talk about?
I don't
Before
think
I give
so.
you
I
my
mean,
hard-hitting question.
yeah, your final hard hitting question. No, I mean, I think I pretty much the commercial committee would be the only other thing that I would like
Ooh.
plug that we rolled out. Thank you, past President Annette, for getting that off the ground last year.
So what
I'm
is the
really
commercial committee?
We have a commercial committee at GPAR now for our commercial practitioners who need education, who want resources. It's chaired by Daryl Ridgway, and I'm really excited to see sort of the work and the programming that they put on so that our members can benefit from sort of a different avenue, and for our commercial practitioners making sure that they're getting some support.
I'm excited to see that too. So that's very intriguing. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I would add to that, Jake, if I can.
Yeah.
I should add to my resume serial interjector. But the commercial committee, I am the liaison to that, and listening to Daryl and his co-chair Fred Bueller, who has an incredible resume. He actually teaches that the triple play. Their goal is to allow the 100% residential practitioner to get some information so that they can make referrals and increase their business. It's to help those that dabble in the middle, right? Those that maybe sell a building with 5 units or 6 units. There's some other information that they need to know, or those mixed use properties, and to push those who really want to pivot or live in the commercial space to those programs that really deal with that, like CCIM. So he's really covering broad strokes here. He's a great chair for this inaugural year. So, keep a lookout for that.
You heard it here. Keep your eye posted if you're interested in commercial in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
We've got it here.
And yeah, I mean, I just thank staff again for everything you guys do. Where it's really important. Lexi, Donna, Cheryl, Gina. We wouldn't
Is
be
Donna,
functioning.
is Donna, our gatekeeper here?
She was here.
No,
Yeah.
she's not here.
Yeah. Okay. Triple check that we were all up and running this morning. So
Absolutely. Donna keeps us in line there. All
yeah.
right. So I got a question for you, Jake. You ready?
Yeah. Final question.
It's
Let's
going to make
see.
you think a little bit.
Okay.
If you could name one song to be your soundtrack for your real estate career or your leadership, which either way, I'll go either way, what would it be? One soundtrack. So give me one song. One song.
See, like, I feel like I'll get in trouble if I answer this honestly. Like, "Hit 'Em Up" by Tupac is one of the is one of the ones that, like, really, if I need to, like, get going, that's like one of the top ones. But like, nobody should go listen to that or look up the lyrics of that song right now.
Well, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the one that like pumps me up, and I feel like that's sort of what you need. Like, whatever your pump up song is like, yeah, hit them up. I'm like, right. I should have thought about that more, but I'll just be honest. It's "Hit 'Em Up" by Tupac. It's like,
Okay.
listen,
it's your song. It's your
Um,
song.
yeah, yeah. Do you have one? What's yours, Heather?
Oh, I got many. Yeah, I'm a survivor.
There you go. Yeah,
Came in like a wrecking ball.
yeah. No, on like the Jake's real estate soundtrack, it's probably, yeah. That's a good question.
Everybody should come up with their own soundtrack.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's good times.
For sure. Heather, thank you again for doing this. This was my inaugural coffee talk, and I'm glad I got to share sort of what we have planned with the association.
I'm excited.
And yeah, I'm excited to be back on the horse or whatever. And yeah, here we go.
I am excited for 2026.
And cool. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.